It's June 3rd, JLD here, and welcome to MSTR Today. In this show, we talk about strategy launching Stride, STRD, and what that means. Let's talk about Strike and Strife and how they are taking off, how disruption is already here, whether you like it or not. So get on board. Also, we talk about MSTR's net income if the market was to close today, or I should say, if the Bitcoin price was to lock in today for the close of Q2. So some pretty exciting numbers to share with that, plus some epic Michael Saylor video clips and so much more. This video is not financial advice, but please do comment below, comment for support. Let me know where you're watching from, and let's dive on in. All right, today's first post is from Michael Saylor himself, and he wants us to know that Strategy announced the launch of Stride, STRD, a new perpetual preferred stock offering available to institutional investors and select non-institutional investors. For more information, click here. And a very interesting new offering. I am very bullish on it personally. I just listened to the entire webinar that Fong Lee and Michael Saylor did about this, and I absolutely love the flywheel that they are creating. So let's dive a little bit more in on this. I'm not going to read through all of this right now, but feel free to go ahead and pause if you want to get what I consider the Chat GPT summary version. I went ahead and took the entire PDF of Stride, and I told Chat GPT to essentially give me 1,000-word summary, and this is what they gave me. So if you want to hit pause and skim through this, it's a very interesting, concise read. You know, essentially, I'll just go over the highlights, which is the dividend info. It pays a 10% annual dividend, but only if declared by the board. The redemption rights, Strategy can buy back all of Stride shares if less than 25% remain outstanding, or if certain tax events occur, and that's at $100 per share, plus any dividends that are declared, if any. So there's a lot of interesting things around Stride. We'll get into some more details, but again, I really do recommend watching the entire webinar that Michael Saylor did on this. It's about 1 hour long, and I will link it up in the show notes below. Let's move on over to Brian, who says, how is Stride different from Strife? The 10% dividend at par looks the same at first glance, but Strategy expects Stride to have a higher yield. This would presumably come about by the market pricing Stride lower than Strife based on less seniority in non-accruing dividends. So that's kind of exactly what Michael Saylor was saying in his webinar, is that, listen, Strife is the senior. It will always be senior when it comes to the seniority scale. Stride's going to actually be below Strife and below Strike as well. And so because of that, it is a little bit, quote unquote, more risky. And so since it's more risky, it should have a higher yield. So time will tell what happens. Michael Saylor did even say, did use the word should multiple times, because again, at the end of the day, it's the market that will decide these things. But this is how they've structured Stride to be a higher yield, greater than 10%. And Strife, of course, is aiming at being right around 10%. It's $10 per share that you own. So very interesting times. And I will say I'm a big fan. And again, I really recommend listening to the webinar from Michael Saylor and Fong Lee. And here's Chris, who has this great chart about Strike versus Strife versus Stride. And in this, he just kind of goes through the different structure types, convert features, the dividend types. He really breaks it down. To me, it's very clear and very interesting, this entire chart, because it really does show you inside Michael Saylor's head of the kind of flywheel that he's building out, how he wants these 4 different gears to always be grinding as far as the ATM goes. He wants the MSTR ATM grinding when the market conditions are favorable. He wants Strife and Strike their ATMs, which are already out there. He wants those grinding when the market conditions are right for that. And then they are going to launch an ATM for Stride in the near term future, and he wants that to be that gear, that ATM gear, to be grinding again when the market conditions are most favorable. So this is just giving Michael Saylor, Fong Lee, and the entire strategy team another tool in their tool chest to execute upon doing the one thing that us as MSTR shareholders should want more than anything else: accumulate Bitcoin with as little dilution as possible, with as much torque as possible. Stack that Bitcoin to Valhalla. Let's go. One Nakamoto, here we come. That's 1 million Bitcoin. We are on the way. Chris says, wild. I asked ChatGPT to list the best assets to own during a fourth turning in rank order, and it ranked Bitcoin as number one. Then I asked it what the best stock to own would be, and it answered with strategy. So this is really crazy. How ChatGPT said number one, Bitcoin is number one. Productive farmland is two, because it provides, this is interesting actually, because it provides food, security, and blah, blah, blah. And then gold was number three. And then when he asked what the best stock to own would be, it answered with strategy, because of why? Stores value during inflation, currency, and debasement, doesn't rely on fragile supply chains, aka is not susceptible to tariffs, benefits from systematic change or chaos, offers exposure to a fundamentally scarce, trustless asset. And then it has Strife in here as one of the benefits, key traits. So very cool stuff. Chat GPT, you are brilliant, obviously. Here's the weekly ATM proceeds. Strike's down a little bit. Strife is up quite a bit in its second week. And you can see here where they're at. I think they should kind of have a total column here. And if Chris, if you're watching this, go ahead and add a third column to these, which is total, just so we can kind of get a quick glance at where we're at on these combos, especially now that we're going to be adding Stride to the equation. So exciting times. Jeff says, zero MSTR ATM this week. Strife ATM increased 369% week over week. Strike has raised over $320 million since shelf offering was filed on March 10th, averaging $5.4 million per trading day. Keep in mind, Strike and Strife are the first preferred stocks in history with a shelf ATM offering. Insane. I mean, just breaking ground. Chris says, with a total of 580,955 Bitcoin, Strategy now owns 2.77% of the total Bitcoin supply and is 58% of the way to one Nakamoto. And for every $1,000 that Bitcoin increases, Strategy's balance sheet increases by $580 million. And you can see what this actual breakdown is right here. Exciting times. And Michael Saylor, he's playing his own game, and I am just proud to be standing over his shoulder watching him play this game as a equity shareholder. Ben says, disruption comes for everyone, no exceptions. Ensure your company has the hard capital war chest to withstand the battle and the strategy to emerge stronger on the other side. Hashtag Bitcoin. And listen, I know that Ben is working for Swan Capital now, but his alliances, they will always lay with strategy. He understands the genius of Michael Saylor, in my opinion. And man, disruption is coming. That's true. Have your Bitcoin. Have your strategy. MSTR is sitting on a Q2 12.6 BTC net income gain with Bitcoin at 105.5. Now with three preferred equity risk tranches appealing to $600 trillion of fixed income investors. Imagine fading this 28 days until the end of Q2. And in fact, as we're speaking today, it's only 27. And then this post by Jeff goes even a little deeper back up. This would clear the hurdle for positive earnings S&P 500 inclusion by $7.3 billion. This is 24 times the total earnings MSTR had during the period of 2009 to 2020, which is their pre-Bitcoin adoption. And then here's a chart there that if the Bitcoin price today closed at 105.5, and this is again if it closed on June 30th at 7 p.m., these are the numbers right here. A total gain in Q2 of 12,640, blah, blah, blah. A lot of money. And then the last four quarters being negative $5 billion would give a cleared positive earnings of $7 billion. Bewilderment would hit the markets. TradFi would not have a clue of what's happening. They would run for the hills because they would know that anybody would just look at them and say, how could you not see this coming? How could you not see this coming? I'm so glad you see this coming. And then I don't know why, but I just love this this graphic from Lance Dwight. So I just had to post it. It's Bitcoin. You know, here's Splinter with the 4 Ninja Turtles, just kind of when they're little turtles, and he's kind of carrying them and helping them along, training them. And then let's go down. Now we've got MSTR, Strife, Strike, Stride, and now they're helping Splinter along. Who's Bitcoin? Of course, Bitcoin is the apex predator. It is the absolute purest form of long-term capital, long-term stores of value. But here we have MSTR, Strife, Strike, and Stride. Let's see if I can do this right. Michelangelo, Leonardo, Raphael, Donatello. Wow, that just came back to me. Oh, I used to love the Ninja Turtles. Love this graphic. Love it so much. And it's so powerful. And oh, by the way, I have some unbelievable videos from Michael Saylor coming up as soon as we get back from thanking our sponsors. Let's be real. If you've ever tried to invest, especially as a beginner, you've probably asked yourself, how do I even find good stocks? What should I buy or sell right now? And seriously, what the hell is going on with the market today? I ask myself those same questions all the time. And that's exactly why I started using Investing Pro, the powerful new platform from investing.com that helps you make smarter investing decisions without drowning in information overload. One of my favorite features, Warren AI. It's like ChatGPT on the stock market, but with real-time data-backed answers straight from investing.com's massive financial database. Want to know why Nvidia dropped yesterday or why now is a good time to buy Tesla? Just ask. Warren AI gives you instant, up-to-date insights you can actually act on. I recently asked it where to invest $10,000 right now, and the list of stocks that returned, fire, full of actionable ideas I hadn't even considered. Bottom line, if you want to invest smarter, faster, and with more confidence, Investing Pro with Warren AI is a game changer. Check it out now at investing-referral.com/MSTR. Online shopping has never been easier, but this ease is new enough that we remember a time when entering all our credit card info every time we purchased something online was the norm. Luckily, we don't have to do that anymore thanks to Shopify. That's right, that purple Shop Pay button that makes it seamless to purchase online is powered by Shopify. And Shopify doesn't just make it easy to buy, it makes it incredibly easy to start a business no matter your experience. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the US, and they make it super easy to get up and running with beautiful, ready-to-go templates and built-in marketing and email tools. Worried about tracking inventory, payments, and analytics? No stress. Shopify helps you manage it all from a single dashboard. And back to that iconic purple Shop Pay button, it's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/MSTR. Go to shopify.com/MSTR, shopify.com/MSTR.
Stride, of course, has another impact on our equity. When the equity capital markets are strong, Stride allows us to achieve a higher MNAV. But when the equity capital markets are weak, in the event that, say, our MNAV is less than 2 and we're not enthusiastic about selling equity, we could sell Stride in order to acquire Bitcoin until our MNAVs were to appreciate to 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can use Stride in order to support a much higher MNAV in lieu of using our equity ATM. Now, in an extreme case, where the MNAV were to fall to 1 or below 1 for the equity, Stride gives us the option to actually sell Stride and then buy our own stock back. When 1 billion people are running a decentralized node, no one's going to be able to change it. It is truly a digital commodity, which makes it a basis of sovereignty and freedom and property rights for the human race for the next 1,000 years, if not 10,000 years. We might actually trace the singularity to January 1st, 2009, when humanity finally had property rights that could not be seized. And before 2009, we were living with imperfect property rights and defective money. And after 2009, we had property rights and we had energy flowing into the digital realm. And that might change humanity for thousands and thousands of years. So I'm confident and optimistic that it's a pretty important thing. And I don't think, I met lots of people. I have confidence that other objective people, neutral observers, they will come to the same conclusion. The disinterested parties will come to the same conclusion. And as they come to that conclusion, the market will segment and things will sort themselves out in a rational fashion for the good of humanity. But yeah, because once you get Bitcoin and it clicks in your mind, your immediate reaction is, oh, I got to hurry and buy as much as I can because someone else is going to go take all my Bitcoin away from me. So like in 2020, when I started buying Bitcoin, I was thinking, oh no, I got to do this in a hurry because someone's going to figure it out and the price is going to 10x. And I better get it before it 10x's. So, I mean, that's a natural reaction when it finally clicks in your head because you're thinking, why
Like, why wouldn't every billionaire in the world go and buy $1 billion of Bitcoin, smash buy it overnight, and just to make $1 billion? Because why wouldn't they just want to make the $1 billion, or $5 billion or 10 billion or any amount of money? I mean, Bitcoin, it feels like in the early days the infinite money glitch, right?
And there you have it, another episode of MSTR Today. And here's my receipt from yesterday. I bought 0.566 shares of MSTR at a $210 price point. I filled it at $372, 0.815. So continuing to add to my stack. This Sunday, I will reveal my entire portfolio per usual. So let's keep on stacking. And listen, it's HODL the line time. So we have 27 days left. I was luckily able to move the green line up a little bit from yesterday because as I'm recording this right now, we're a little bit above $105,000 for Bitcoin. So we'll see where we go throughout the rest of the day and the week. But right now, anytime you get to increase that buffer above 97 is a good day. So 27 more days. Let's HODL. Excuse me. Let's HODL that line and let's keep on rocking. And listen, I just want to say that you know that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and you've been hanging out with me for 15 minutes. So I am honored by that. I appreciate that. Thank you for that. I hope that you also really are intentional about the other 4 people that you spend a lot of time with here today. And as Michael Saylor loves to say, there is no second best.
What's the second best? There is no second best.